Hi everyone. We are currently busy with numbers 1, finding the lowest common multiple and highest common factor by prime decomposition. In this video, I'm working through exercise 2, but we have already done in the previous video, we have done A, B, and C, and we have in the next video, I will do G, H, and I. So I'm only focusing on those 3 questions in this video. Right, so for the first question, they want the lowest common multiple between 40 and 50. So our first step, as always, would be to write it in as a product of its prime factors. So 40 divides into 4 and 10, and 4 divides further into 2 and 2, both prime numbers. 10 can divide into 2 and 5, also 2 prime numbers. So that means that we can rewrite 40 as 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. And 50 can be divided into 5 times 10, where 5 is a prime number, and 10 can be divided into 2 times 5, where 2 and 5 are both prime numbers. So 50 can be rewritten as 2 times 5 times 5. Now we draw a Venn diagram. Okay? Where this circle represents 40, that circle represents 50, and this is our intersection or our shared part. Right. So first of all, we have to look what numbers are shared. We've got a 2 and a 5 in both of them. So I'm going to write a 2 and a 5 in the shared part of the Venn diagram. What is left over in the 40 section is 2 2's, and what is left over in the 50 section is a 5. They are looking for the lowest common multiple, so to find the lowest common multiple, I'm going to say 2 times 2 times 2 times 5 times 5. And if I put that in my calculator, I get 8 times 25, which gives me 200. So the lowest common multiple of 40 and 50 is 200. Right. Now for number E, it looks a little bit difficult because you've got 3 numbers. But the basic principle stays exactly the same. You have got 3 numbers that you have to rewrite into prime factor decomposition. Okay, so we are going to break up 28 into 7 times 4. 7 is a prime number. So we're going to break up 4 again into 2 and 2, both prime numbers. So if we have to rewrite 28, we can say 2 times 2 times 7. When we break up 40, I'm going to do it differently now. I'm going to say that it is 5 times 8. 5 is a prime factor, a prime product, and 8 can be divided into 2 and 4. 4 can be divided again into 2 and 2. So there's our prime products. So for 40, we've got 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. For 44, I'm going to break that up into 4 times 11. 11 is a prime number, and 4 can be divided or broken up into 2 times 2. So if I want to rewrite 44 as a product of its prime factors, it's going to be 2 times 2 times 11. Right, now this Venn diagram looks a little bit different, but in fact the information on the inside stays exactly the same. We've got a full circle for 28, we've got a circle for 40, and we also have a circle for 44. Right, so now all we have to look at is that this part is shared between all 3 numbers. So what prime numbers are shared between all 3 of them? There's a 2, there's a 2, and there's a 2. So we can put a 2 in the middle there. We do have another 2, another 2, and another 2, which is shared again between all of them. But there's a 7 in circle 28 that is not seen in any of the other numbers. So we can put the 7 just under the circle of 28. 40, we've got another 2, not in 44 nor 28, so we can put the 2 under 40, and the 5 as well. It goes into 40 because it's not shared in either 28 nor 44. Then 11 is left over there, and it is written in that circle. Now that we've got our Venn diagram, we are not looking for the highest common factor, which is the intersection part. We are looking for the lowest common multiple. And to find the lowest common multiple, we multiply all these numbers together. So we're going to say 7 times 2, which is the shared part, times 2 times 5, which is the 40 part, times 11. And when you plug that all into your calculator, you get 3080, 3080. So your answer for this one, 3080. Now, on to number F, which is also 3 numbers. So it looks a little bit more complicated, but in fact, if you just keep with the steps, you won't get confused. Okay, so first of all, we're going to break up 36 into prime products. So 36 divides into 6 and 6, because 6 times 6 is 36. And 6 divides into 2 and 3. 2 is a prime number, 3 is a prime number. 6 gets broken up again into 2 and 3, both prime numbers. So 36 can be rewritten as 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. Our next number is number 42. And for 42, I break it up into 6 times 7. 7 is a prime number, so we're only breaking up 6 again into 2 and 3. Right, so if we now want to rewrite 42 as a prime product, we are going to say 2 times 3 times 7. Right, and our last number is number 48. 48 breaks into 6 times 8. 6 breaks up into 2 and 3, both prime numbers. 8 breaks up into 2 times 4, where 2 is a prime number, and 4 breaks up into 2 and 2, both prime numbers. So 48, rewritten as a product of its prime numbers, is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. Now we draw our little Venn diagram. Remember, we've got 3 circles now. So there we've got circle for 36. There we have our circle for 42. And there we have our circle for 48. All right. So for 36, first of all, we have a look what is shared in all 3 of them. We've got a 2, a 2, and a 2. So the 2 goes in the middle. We do not have another 2. We do have a 3. That 3, that 3, and that 3 are all shared in the middle. Now, if we look at what is left at 36, there's a 2 left, but there's also a 2 left at 48. So where 36 and 48 meets, which is basically this part, we are going to write that 2. So there's a 2 right there. Right, then we've got a 3 left at 36, which is nowhere else, so we can write a 3 there. There's a 7 left at 42, which we can write there, and then there's 2 2s left and in number 48, and we can write them there. Now, to find the lowest common multiple, we are going to say 3 times 7 times 2 times 2. It's 3 times 7 times 2 times 2 times that 2 there, times 2 and 3 in the middle, times 2 times 3. If you put this all in your calculator, you get to the number 1008. So your lowest common multiple of those 3 numbers are 1008. If you want to see the next 3 questions solved, please watch the next video.